Hey everybody, welcome to our second session of the day for most of us. Obviously, we're at home today for our meeting. I've got Adam Ross and Doug Leonard here with me. We're just going to go over a few things preseason, but we'll give a second. Give us 10 seconds here. We're all going to share it on our phones, make sure everybody knows what we've got going on, and then we'll jump right into things. Hopefully, everybody's surviving and getting through this quarantine. Let me know, Spence. Just waiting for Spencer to let us know if everything's live on Facebook before we jump into things. If you're watching us now. All right. All right, everybody. Welcome to our afternoon rules meeting. I'm just sharing it here. If everybody watching this can share it live also. Rules meeting is live now. All right. My name is Clinton Jeffrey. I manage Ohsweken Speedway. Also, I'm one of the announcers along with Adam Ross, who's in the middle. Adam is our broadcast partner here on GeForceTV.net. And everything we got going on with Race Rivals. Adam is moderating. He will be watching for questions or comments that anybody has. Doug Leonard, of course, our race director, and my right-hand man on race night, who manages pretty much all of the director of traffic, as we like to call them. And Doug, welcome to the broadcast. We won't bother Adam right now because I know Adam is immersed majorly in his NASCAR iRacing thing. So if you've not checked that out today, the NASCAR iRacing broadcast is pretty impressive. And Adam, we've been hosting iRacing for 2 seasons now here on GeForceTV.net and Facebook, and great to see the major leagues finally catch up to what we've been doing.
Listen, I've got my microphone muted because I was not even to be seen, let alone heard. I'm here to handle comments. I was warned if I turned my microphone on and if I still got Fox Sports on, I'd be in big trouble. Well, guess what? I've got my Fox Sports on because I'm watching this iRacing broadcast. I am here to type. I'm at your service. So whether you're on Facebook or YouTube, fire in your questions. I will get them to the people that need to see them, Clinton, and it's great to be seen.
All right, thanks, Adam. We'll let Adam get back to his mute. Adam will be monitoring questions or comments, so if you have any questions or comments, feel free to put them in on the Facebook feed or the YouTube page, and we'll get them in. We'll also add them to the chat at the bottom here where you see the Ohsweken logo, so we can address your questions and comments. Just want to mention staff. So a bit of staff. Staff will pretty much be the same as it was last year. We're happy. Everything's been rolling along. That's the wrong slide there, but a lot of it's the same. The only thing that's not right is tech director. You can take that slide down, Spence. But it'll be Doug Leonard, race directing. Tech director will be, again, Kelly Hallett and Glenn Hills, who's been with us for many years. And we're super happy to have both those guys running that deal for us. So all the rules were set at our last meeting. We'll just review some of the key points here. This is mainly to talk about procedures, answer any questions you guys may or may not have about the upcoming season. So first off, welcome everybody here to the broadcast. Of course, trying situation right now in Ontario here and in the world. So I get a lot of questions right now asking what Ohsweken's plan is based on the situation right now. Well, right now we are just holding tight. I can tell you preparation is still underway. For a lot of us, things haven't slowed down. We are practicing self-isolation, but I can tell you the guys are out in the equipment, still working away to get things rolling along. We have acquired Steyer's Lumber behind the main grandstand, which is going to be 5+ acres of brand new parking, super close to the grandstand. I'm sure the older folks and a lot of the fans that come weekly are going to be super happy about how close they're going to get to park now. The crews were in there all last week tearing down a lot of the big older buildings and prepping it for parking. So we're excited about that. That continues to go on. Our season isn't scheduled to start here on the Friday night program until mid-May. Practice wasn't until May 8th, and then our first real racing was May 15th. So that's still almost 8 weeks from now. We still got a long way to go before we get there. So I think we're not affected by the timelines right now, I can say. We're still full steam ahead. So that's where we are, at least from the track side of things. If the situation changes, obviously we will have to address it as it goes. But right now we are 100% go for the season and still racing towards opening day as scheduled. Let's talk about membership forms. Tonight is the deadline for the membership. Spencer, you throw up that slide. Membership forms are available online right now. You can go to the Ohsweken Speedway.ca website. It's also a .com. It's both take you to the same place. Membership forms are available there, or you can type in the link here you see. Once forms are received via email, you'll be contacted within 48 hours for payment. Cash payments can be arranged with the operators if paperwork has been completed, and completed forms can be emailed to Tammy at ohswekenspeedway.com. So make sure you get your forms in. Tonight at midnight is the deadline. So anybody who sends in their forms before 11:59 tonight gets in at the early bird pricing, and they also get 16 passes for sponsor night. We're changing sponsor night up this year a little bit. In the past few seasons, we gave away 16 pit passes to every team that was registered. In the past couple years, we told you guys, we didn't want to see it abused, but we just saw too many, moms and dads, brothers and sisters, kind of abusing the passes and abusing the system a little bit. I don't want to put it too bad, but we just found it wasn't really getting the target of getting the people out. So we're going to do it a little bit differently this year. If you have your forms in by tonight, and that means if you were also part of the December meeting prior or did any registrations in between, you'll be eligible for 16 grandstand passes. They'll be valid for any Friday night program. So you guys can go out, give those to your sponsors, invite them out to come out. So the reasons we switched away from pit passes were a couple things. First off, anybody we keep out of the pit area just for safety reasons and traffic is a good deal. The other thing that happens with us in the pits is we have all these people come out for the first time. They're just not used to it. Those are the most dangerous nights we tend to have. So we have decided to move away from that. The other thing is Greg and Adam and everybody, we all play to the front of the house. And I think it was the office staff that came up with it and said, a lot of our race teams haven't even been over to the grandstand side and see how great it is and how nice the concessions are and the bathrooms and everything. And that's really what we want to push to the people trying to support it. And that's where the show is played to. So, for example, you're on the front side and everything plays to the front of the house, so to speak. So that's one of the aspects too. We want to show our best side. So that's another exciting thing we've got going on. So make sure you get your forms in tonight by midnight to be eligible for the early bird pricing and the 16 sponsor passes. And as we said, once we get your paperwork in, you'll be called within the next 48 hours to make payment arrangements. Spencer, can we show up the pricing page? Do we have that one? Pricing for pit memberships are as follows. $100 is the regular price. It's $75 if the paperwork is received by tonight as part of the early bird deadline. The pit membership entitles pass holder to enter the pits at the 2020 member rate, which is still $20 for regular night. Valid from May 15th through September 11th, not valid for practice nights. The other option is the season's pass. It's $350. It also includes the membership above. If your paperwork is received by tonight, it is $300, and that includes entry into all regular Friday night events, and it also gives you member pricing on the special events. Okay. So hopefully that answers that question. Moving on to Yeah, Doug, jump in anytime here.
And points have to be members. So those who won perfect attendance awards last year, for your award to be eligible at the back gate, you have to have this year's membership. Tammy wanted that added in for this morning's email.
Yeah, a great point. We do give you away, if you have perfect attendance, as Doug mentioned, you do get, but you do need to buy that membership to obtain that. The other thing, Doug, the real push for the early bird membership has to do with the administration on race night. Maybe you can talk about the chaos that happens on opening night. Now, for years we've mandated you have to be a member to gain points. So in order to be in this whole thing, it's hectic for you on a night that's probably the busiest night of the year as it is. But explain why we kind of I don't want it to look like a money grab, but we need you to do this early to help us out so we have a cash incentive. Take it from there.
Yeah, you're totally right. I mean, you pull into the back gate on opening night, and the lineup from the barn where you sign in is like halfway down the driveway. I get it. Everyone's trying to sign in on that day of. Well, all of a sudden, those memberships come to the sign-in window at the back gate. At the tech barn, and we're trying to type them into the computer system. With my race pass, if we can get it in earlier, all those lineups and names are already in the computer system, so it just makes it administratively a lot clearer and a lot easier.
All right. So thanks, Doug. Along the lines, that brings us to our next thing. Deadline is the 23rd. So it's midnight tonight is the deadline. I put it in the message. Any emails received by 11:59 tonight will receive the early bird pricing. Moving on to the next thing, transponders and one-way radios. One-way radios have been they've been mandatory for years now. We're going to continue with that. You can get the one-way radios at the Speedway for $150. They don't come with headphones for that price, but it's $150 if you buy them at the Speedway. There's no tax. Prices are Canadian. And we also want to talk about transponders. We encourage everybody to get your own transponder. Prices, including hardware and subscriptions, are $225 for a 1 year, $315 for a 2 year, and $535 for a 5 year. Now, if you take that, take our regular night and multiply our regular nights for 1 year by $20, which it costs for you to rent a transponder. Over 18 nights, you're paying $360. That's $145 more than you need to pay. You're basically throwing all that money away per year. If you go to the 2 year, it's even less, and the 5 year, even less. So we encourage everybody, if you can, to get a transponder this year. Contact me. We can hook you up. The prices for renewals, so, and I'll let Doug explain how it works. But there's your prices: $225 for 1 year, $315 for 2 year, $535 for 5 year. So if you got a 1 year last year, from the day you registered it, you had 365 days. You'll need to register it again, but not through us. You register it right with My Labs, and it's approximately $145 per year for renewal after that. So jumping back over to Doug now. Doug, maybe you can explain how the transponder situation works.
Yeah, as you said, MyLapse has gone away from the traditional red ones that we've always used, and they've gone to this flex pack. It's a lot useful. If you don't know how many years you're going to race, you can buy that 1 or 2 year, maybe that 5 year, and afterwards it expires. If you want to continue on, you can buy it. But there's different apps that you can download. Last year I was talking to a driver in the pits, and all of a sudden he had a notification on his phone. And he's like, oh, my results have come in. So he just clicked on his phone, and he's like, look, here's what I did on this lap, that lap. I passed this many cars. Here's my average speed. Here's my average time. Oh, he goes, I'm going to see what I did against another driver. And he just clicked on a button, and all of a sudden it did the average. So unique things that they have with this new app. It's really, really sophisticated. I like it. And it's definitely beneficial for the drivers to see how you're doing. You can compare yourself from week after week, driver to driver, event to event. So take advantage of the flex packs. Because of our car counts, we're running out of the AMBs on the rentals. And I think, Clinton, you said as you do the math for the rentals that we do at $15 a night, versus if you buy it, it's a lot cheaper to buy your own.
Well, we jacked it to $20 last year just to encourage people
Yeah, right.
to get off of it. And I think, I mean, I really don't want to push it to 25, but if we don't get enough guys moving there by August, we are going to jack up the price again because, there's really no excuse for you not to do it. We can make payment plans. If credit card's an issue, just contact us. Let's make this happen. We need all you guys to work with us. The other big push behind this is when you have your own transponder, your name's locked into that. You're not, so when you come up on our tickers for the broadcasts, when you come up on all that stuff, you're going to be accurate every week because your name's not going to change. It's not going to say someone else's name who last week because it might have not got changed or in the chaos of it. So that's another way for you to ensure, you're always top in the ticker on the scoring and everything's right and your number's correct on the board. If you've got your own transponder, that's never going to change. So that's another advantage. Right, Doug?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, definitely you were offering that payment plan, so it's just like renting it. I apologize for the pricing. I forgot about the increase, but you're right. If you're charging $25, you're willing to do a payment plan with somebody, that'll certainly help them out on a 1 or 2 year plan that they can do it. But that's the biggest complaint is, I mean, we get all of a sudden 28 cars in a feature, and possibly we have a name in wrong. I mean, our phone's blowing up and that because we have car 7 in is the wrong name. Well, that's because car 14 rented that transponder the week before. So consistency wise and that 100%, I totally agree with you.
Yeah, and it's also easier on like Greg and Adam up in the booth. They've got everything right. Spencer trying to run our broadcast. It adds a bit of chaos for them. So we appreciate that. Just talking with that, Brittany Jacari is going to be back this year, Doug, running timing and scoring full time in the booth. She's a veteran of the system, been with us for many years, took last year off. So we're excited to get that back. Dave, just want to comment on Dave Goodacre's comment. Dave, I'll contact you right after. We'll get you that membership file if anybody else is having the problem downloading the form. Just let us know, and we'll get that to you. But Brittany's back, Doug. I know that's going to take a bit of load off you, and that's exciting for us both to have a veteran back in to deal with all these new systems we've got going on.
100%. I mean, Sherry Bell has been with us for a number of years. She had her third baby, so she'll be on maternity leave. We talked Brittany into coming back. Brittany knows the system inside and out. With My Race Pass tied into it, once you click checkered flag on My Laps, it automatically transfers over to My Race Pass. It's just all of a sudden you click a couple buttons for confirmation and boom, lineups are done. So she's got that system inside and out. She helped out of the last part of the end of the year last year. And said, hey, I'll come back this year for you. So great to have her back in the tower with me.
Talk quickly about My Race Pass and about why drivers should claim their membership and their, or what would it be? Claim their profile.
Their profile. Yeah, their profile. Again, I mean, My Race Pass really likes to promote drivers. It's another way for us to get exposure. We can go on and put on our stories, our video links onto their website. People can click on their results and click on their profile. So if a driver goes in and claims it, puts a picture to it, a lot of places are going to Chili Bowl, for an example. They didn't use the MyLaps or the Race Monitor app. They use actually My Race Pass. So it's another way for live timing and scoring. I mean, I didn't spend the money like Adam Ross and rent the Chili Bowl. I just watched it on my phone on My Race Pass on their app. So if you can click on their profile and claim it, put a picture of them, whether it be themselves or the race car, just another way for fans to identify with the drivers.
Yeah, we used it also on the Action Sprint Tour. It was kind of the hub for a lot of the points and schedule there, so that was exciting as well. That'll do it for transponders and one-way radio. So if you need one, contact us, let us know. We'll get you one. Let's take a look at the race schedule as it's printed right now. So here's where we are. Test and Tune scheduled for May 8th right now. The 25th season opening night will be May 15th. So regular nights on May 15th, May 22nd. And this is where we get into some extra payouts. So, part of the rundown, the next thing we had was payouts. But if you look at this, we do have quite a bit of extra payout nights this year, celebrating our 25th season. We've jacked up the pay. We brought on some new sponsors to help with the payout. So our 25th season opening night is going to pay $2,000 to win for the 360s. And we've tried to get a special paying night almost every night of the year for somebody in the field. May 22nd will be $1,000 to win for the crates, regular night. May 29th, 2K to win for the 360s, plus Duel on the Dirt home track night for both Mini Stock and Thunder Stock, and that's also going to be live on MAV TV. June 5th, 1,000 to win for the mods versus UMP from the Brighton cars versus the Southern Ontario Motor Speedway UMP cars, plus our regular other divisions. Then back to June 12th, another full regular card with 1,000 to win show for the crates again. June 19th, the 360 crates, Thunder Stocks and Mini Stocks are back on live MAV TV. 2K to win for the 360s, and second night for Duel on the Dirt home track night points. We're going to do both divisions on the same night, so it'll just be known as Duel on the Dirt home track night 1 and 2. June 26th will be 2,000 to win for the Thunder Stocks. It'll be the Gales Cash Blast 50. Then we're moving on. Another mod challenge is back with on July 3rd, 1,000 to win. You can just mute his mic for a minute, Spence, if you can. Then July 6th, $10,000 US to win for the Big Blocks. That's the Super Dirt Car Series Big Block Modifieds. Back on MAV TV July 10th for a 2K to win show for the 360s. July 17th will be a 1,000 to win show for the late models. Then we're into 1,000 to win for the Thunders again. 2K to win for the 360s on July 31st. August 7th will be another late model race. 1,000 to win for late models. Then we're back to the 1,000 to win sportsman race with the Race of Champions. 1,000 to win crate race for the crates. And we've also got, then we jump into our big deal, which is, August 17th is it's a 1,000 to win crate show, but it's also a 5,000 US to win 360 show as part of the Northern Summer Nationals. That's backed up by another 5,000 US to win show for the 360s, along with the NASCAR Pinty Series as part of the Pinty's 100, and that's a $25,000 Canadian show to win. So that's a super big deal for us there. I'm excited to have both those nights part of our summer. Then we're back to August 21st. We're off. That is the basically week that we will take off from micro sprints, Friday Night Excitement, and Action Sprint Tour. So if you guys need a vacation, we're basically off from Wednesday, August 19th to Thursday, August 27th. So it's a good cottage week if any of you guys need a week off. We had some guys ask that, so we've specifically given all three entities that we're related with off for those days. Back on August 28th, it's a 1,000 show to win for the Minis. September 4th, 1,000 to win for the Thunders. Championship Friday, 2K to win for the 360s, back on MAV TV live. And then we're into Canadian Sprint Car Nationals weekend, featuring Test and Tune on the Thursday. Burger Barn is presenting the Canadian Crate Car Nationals on MAV TV live, and that'll be a 5K to win show for the crates or a brand new converted crate engine. Your choice. Whatever the winner doesn't pick will go to be Saturday night's prize, as they will be the support division for the 16th annual Canadian Sprint Car Nationals, 10,000 US to win. So hopefully that explains the schedule a little bit. Schedules have been printed and are available for pickup starting this coming week. They're also online on the website with all that information. We've added an extra column that shows the extra payouts for all the extra nights. The other thing you're going to see on the schedule, and we'll talk a bit about it in the rules updates, is the Silver Series. Silver Series races are a new deal we've got going on for Minis and Thunders a few nights of the year, and we'll talk about that when we get into rules updates. Tristan De Silva, your question, Duel on the Dirt, no mini trucks at Ohsweken. That is correct. We had talks based on the Duel on the Dirt series and the Ontario Dirt Competition Committee with Merrittville and Humberstone Speedway regarding the mini or four-cylinder trucks. There was talks of them being combined. We all dug in at our last meeting, and it was pretty much a unanimous decision that the Ohsweken drivers were not interested in allowing the trucks in. I think we have a solid division. We have had it for 25 years. I don't think we need to monkey with it, and I'll explain why in a second. But the agreement that Merrittville and Humberstone made is they will be allowed to run together in Niagara for the next 2 seasons and then phased out totally. So the trucks won't be allowed to run after 3 more seasons. So for those of you racing at Merrittville and Humberstone, you will be facing off against the trucks. But at Ohsweken, no, we are not mixing the trucks with the mini stocks. My concern about it is, you know, we have a great division, and if someone goes out and builds a truck and really starts to dominate with that truck, I'm worried, and we're worried that everybody's going to want to build trucks now and tear apart the mini stock division where we've got something good. I think the new recent additions of the dual overhead cams for the North American cars, anyways, has opened up a whole new group of opportunities or possible rides for guys to build. It's opened up a whole new door, and I think it's helping bring the cost down, and the competition's been fantastic. So we're going to continue down those roads. Dave Goodacre posts question: to save time nightly, time hot laps for mini stock, and everyone runs the feature. More laps for rookies and save time from heat races and 2B mains. Payout from 1 to 28 and 29th get tow money. You know, Dave, I don't think that's a bad idea. I think one thing we're really trying to do is keep the racing as good and competitive as it can be. You know, the concern with just letting everybody in can really start to slow down those shows. I think we always try and have some form of qualifying to make sure the guys who are having problems or cars aren't up to speed. You know, some weeks you shouldn't be in that race if your car's not up to speed. And just having guys out there, I think taking all comers is not a proposition or a road we really want to go down right at this point in time. Back to the Silver Series race, we'll talk about those in a second. They have eliminated the heats on some of those nights, and we'll talk about how we're going to qualify those. We did a couple tests with it last year. It worked out pretty good. We were happy with the results, but we're still always tweaking. For now, we're going to keep procedures fairly similar to where they were, but we'll talk about that in the next segment coming up. I think we're there. Sorry. So, rules updates. Spencer, you want to throw up the first slide there? I think it was the mini stock slide. Mini stocks and Thunders, they will be governed still by the Ontario Dirt Competition Committee. You can find their rules at ontariodirtcomp.com. These are rules for the 4 tracks. Southern Ontario Motor Speedway dropped out this year, but it's still Brighton, Humberstone, Merrittville, and Ohsweken. For mini stocks and Thunder stocks, we have common rules. The 2020 updates are highlighted in red if you go to the site and look for the rules the website is ontariodirtcomp.com. We are currently in a year 2 of a 3-year agreement with the ODCC. So we're not changing any major rules or jumping out on our own. We worked together to clarify some of the rules since December, and you can find all those updates in red on the website. There's nothing major that changed since our December meeting. A couple of the questions that came up were things like clarifying the mini stock tires and what was like the snowflake versus the winter tire, and we got all those clarified, and you can find those on the website. So once again, ontariodirtcomp.com for updates if you need to check out the website and the rules. But if you were legal last year, you will be able to race exactly as you are this year with no changes. Silver Series races. A few nights this year, if you're in a Thunder stock or mini stock division, you'll see it says Silver Series. On those nights, it means you won't race heat races. You'll line up by the points invert. So 18th in points will line up on the pole. First in points will line up in 18th. And 19th to, I believe it was 25th or 24th. 19th to 24th in the points will start front of the B main. Everybody else and newcomers will draw for position in the back, and they will be 500 to win Silver Series features. So any night we have a Silver Series on your schedule, it'll mean you're not running heat races. I think there's about 3 or 4 of them. They're mainly on the major nights and nights when we're trying to save a bit of time. This is a bit of a test, and you're not getting heats, but you're rewarded with more money to win if you can get it done. So those are the mini stock and Thunder stock rules for now. And again, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to type them in as we go, or contact us after, and we'll just keep trucking on through here. If you have anything you want to discuss or any questions, we have open discussion at the end, or if you type at any time, we'll catch it. Adam will bring it back if we miss it. Moving on to the next slide, Spencer. 602 crates. They had the biggest amount of rule changes this year. 602 crate sprints. Here are the basic coal notes of the rule changes. Valve shims are not allowed on valve springs anymore. We found some cars were doing that, so we've eliminated that 100%. No valve spring shims at all will be allowed. Headers, the inside surface must remain stock. The outside of the headers can be coated, painted, etc. The fuel safe Enduro cell will not be allowed for 2021 and beyond. We just don't feel comfortable with the level of durability it's got. We've been recommended by many people in the industry to eliminate that, so we will not be allowing the fuel safe Enduro cell beyond. Mechanical bleeders, I believe I should have said will be allowed. Let me just look that up. Yes, mechanical bleeders are allowed. That's a typo by me. That, and I'm just going to verify that again. The rules can be found at actionsprint.com, and I'll explain why we did that too in a second. Just trying to catch up here to my rules. Make sure I clarify that correctly. Okay, so mechanical bleeders will be allowed. Yes, Rule 23.6. The other thing we want to mention is no carbon fiber bodies. So that's another way we're working to keep costs down. Carbon fiber body panels will not be allowed. Safety support bars are mandatory in both classes. All cars must have them in 2020. So if you have any questions on safety or support bars, most of you guys are up to speed on that. Make sure you check those out and have those in place. Also, we're into 2020 now. That means the year for helmets has jumped up to the new 5-year limit. That means all drivers are required to wear a proper fitting SA 2015 or newer Snell approved full faced helmet. So look at the dates on your helmet. If it's 2014 or older, you will have to get a new one. Spencer, was there another crate slide? Or was that it? Okay, so that's it. The other thing was rules can be found at actionsprinttour.com. So just like the mini stocks and thunder stocks, we're governed. Well, we basically govern the rules, but we have made it streamlined across all of the channels now. So what I mean by that is we now have Quebec running crate sprints. We have Brockville building a crate sprint division the same as ours. They're using our builders. We've added one builder in the east, Yves LaFrance Performance in Cornwall is now the 4th approved builder. He has our seals, so that way when those guys come up here, they'll be playing on the exact same rules, tires, everything we are. The only difference they talked about at Brockville, they may allow a harder tire for weekly competition because it's a lot more abrasive than anywhere else. The other thing, so we had to finalize those rules earlier and get them down to them so they could continue to build their classes. It's going to add to a lot of exciting blended races, I think, when we get together. Quebec has a big race coming up this summer, 2000 to win. Brockville's going to put the crate sprints as part of their Brockville Fall Nationals, which is a huge event in the Northeast on the dirt circuit. So we're really getting into some exciting places now with the crate sprints. And so that's the reason we've put them together and got them all together under the actionsprinttour.com banner. So if you need rules there, you can go to actionsprinttour.com. Spencer, can you go back to Dave Goodacre's question about starting cars, and we'll get back to that. Actually, hang on to that for race procedures. Just let's get through the last slide here with the 360s, and then we'll come back to your question, Dave. Then we're going to bring Doug back in, and we'll talk about race procedures and open up the discussion there. 360 sprint cars, wing rules will stay the same as 2019. There was a question about adopting to the Patriot-style rules, but our rules will stay the same, basically meaning you can have a dish but no wicker bill or a flat with a wicker bill. Electronic bleeders will be allowed in 2020. I repeat, will be allowed in 2020. This is a difference for us over the past couple seasons. We found that we were the only ones on the island not allowing them in the 360 world, so it was time for us to catch up and finally start allowing the electronic bleeders. A lot of our teams competing outside of Ohsweken already have them, and it's not something necessary to go faster. It's more of a tool you can use to be more consistent if that's something you want to do. Along those lines, we're also going to allow the crank trigger / timing retardation switch, which will be allowed in 2020. A lot of the other major 360 touring groups are allowing this already. It goes under the hood. It cannot be messed with once the car is taken to the track, but that will be allowed as well. We'll be sticking with single file restarts as it was brought up at the last meeting, and all drivers, again, are required to have the helmet up to date at 2015 or newer, Snell approved full face helmet. So, with that being said, we'll bring back Doug Leonard now. We'll open up the floor for you guys, for anybody with discussions. Thanks so much for being with us here, everybody. We really appreciate you joining us here today. Of course, it's a bit of a strange situation here that, unprecedented in my lifetime and all of ours, I'm sure. So, Dave's question, how many cars are we starting, and will it stay the same all season? Last year we started 24 some nights, 28 some nights, and 30 others. Have to start the same every night to be fair with the points. I agree with that, Doug. I think, we're always trying to find the sweet spot with the setups. And when I say setups, I mean race lineups and numbers to be fair and to get it all in. I can agree with that. We can keep it at a consistent 28. Last year we tried to get more guys in for the television races. It worked on the mini stock side, didn't really pay off on the Thunder stock side. So I think we can stick with a consistent 28 across the mini stocks. Do you have any thoughts or comments on that, Doug?
No, Dave is totally right. We will stay with 28 on every night. The only nights that we won't stay with 20 nights are the duel on the dirts. And the only reason being is we need to be consistent with the 3 other tracks that start 24 cars. But what we do is those first 4 cars that didn't transfer out of the B main, they get A main points for positions 25, 26, 27, 28. So points-wise, consistency will be okay. We will start 24 cars that night. Every other night, we'll start 28.
Yeah, you bring up a good point. That was the situation we had a couple years ago where the other tracks caught on that we were starting 4 more cars than they were. We're the only track that starts 28. So we will on the duel on the dirt night. So I believe that's only one night though, right, Doug? That's one night for each class. It's just on the combined. On our regular home track nights, we can still start 28.
No, well, you can only start 24 because we can't add 4
Oh.
more cars to get points. So that's the nights we'll start 24. So the qualifiers and the actual duel on the dirt races will be 24 cars.
Okay, so those are 2 regular nights and 1 combined night. So each division will have 3 nights where they start 24. But as Doug mentioned, the next 4 starters or non-starters will get A main points like they were. So that hopefully that answers your question, Dave. Yes, no carbon fiber bodies for crate sprints. Doug, let's talk about race procedures. If the season is shortened, will there be any relief for members? Jim, yeah, I mean that's one thing about our ownership group. Glenn's other businesses do fairly well. We don't need to hoard money from the race teams. We'll take that case by case basis, but the best thing I can say is you're always going to get your value out of the money you spend at Ohsweken Speedway. So whether that means relief or credit towards something down the line or whatever it is, I mean, we'll come up with something that's more than fair if the season happens to get shorted. Doug, let's talk about procedures for so we talked about mini stocks. Let's just overview it quickly. I don't think you need to go through the math too much until we get to the crates. But the bottom line is we're going to try to go away from the 2B mains to 1B main for a better show. Some nights we only had 6 cars, 4 cars showing up for B mains. By putting them all in one, it gives a better show to our fans. Hopefully it saves a bit of time. So in all classes, we're going to do our best to only have 1 B main, even in the crate sprint. So let's talk about the minis, the math behind it. For a regular night, we would take 7 out of each heat and 7 out of the B, correct?
That is correct. So we have 36 cars or less. We'll have 3 heats. We'll max out at 12 cars. We'll take 7 to lock in 21, and then we'll have 1 B main, and we'll take 7 from that to give you 28 cars. So that'll be for your Thunders and also your minis.
Okay. Let's talk about 360s also right now because they're a pretty straightforward formula. We're going to stick with 24 cars there like we have been all along. Let's talk about procedures for them. Basically the same deal for 360s. How's it going to work? Right from the draw, take us
Right.
through a night.
So same thing. I mean, if we're less than 36 cars, which we seem to be, we'll again stay with 3 heats. We'll lock in 6 from those. Of course, we're going back to the passing points. So as long as you qualify in the top 6, you're locked in. Then we'll resort to the passing points to take our top 8 to go to the redraw. We'll have 1B main, which will take 6 from that. So you and I had some discussions whether we can open it up to 12 cars. We believe we can. I mean, it is a draw situation, so unfortunately, if someone has a bad draw and starts 12th, but they drive up to say 8th, they're going to get a bunch of passing points. They're going to start up front in that B main and have a better chance to lock in the top 6. So again, we'll stay at a 24 car starting field there.
All right. The crates become the big story, Doug. Numbers continue to grow in the crate sprints. Let's talk a bit about what the procedure is going to be for the crate sprints and how you figure this is going to work out.
Yeah, I mean, there's a division that's certainly boomed for us. I mean, anywhere I go, that's all anyone seems to talk about at Ohsweken Speedway is how fast that class is growing. You and I were talking on Motorama, like we're up to 8, 9 rookies already on top of last year. I mean, we're going to be probably over 40 cars on any given night. So we've elected decided, I mean, with Glenn's permission, that we'll start 28 cars on the crate sprint cars in an A feature. So that's an influx of 4 more cars. Again, the math of me, meaning if we get up to 48 cars, we'll go to 4 heats, take 6, 1B main, and take 4 on that, which probably is where we're going to be sitting at.
Any chance 2 features for crates? No, not in the near future. I think it's still going to be a big thing to qualify. At this point in time, we look at how things go with the World of Outlaws and a show like that. If they bring 90 cars, they're not running double features. The best 28 are going to race. So we've added 4 more spots to the back of the A mains this year. So, from that side of things, that's where we're going to go. Just reading a couple of other questions that are coming in. Anything else, Doug, you want to discuss? Darren, we can talk about the bodies offline here. The bottom line is carbon fiber bodies are stupid expensive for sprint cars. It's a lot of the higher dollar teams that recommend it to us. We should not be allowing them. So carbon fiber bodies are not something we want to be allowing in the crate sprints. It's an unnecessary expense, and it's something that we've been recommended to remove from the rules. If you got an issue with that, send me a message. We can talk offline. Doug, you want to address Mike Morris's question? Any talk about having lap cars to the rear on a restart?
Well, we do that. I mean, we do it within 5 laps to go. We remove the lap cars out. There's been many years of discussion of that. Let's take an example. That leader goes ahead and laps a bunch of cars and puts 4 cars between him and the second place driver. I mean, for a fan aspect, it's exciting because now you take that second place driver and put it on the tail end of the leader under caution. The disadvantage to it is that guy's worked hard to put those lap cars between him and the second place car. So we leave them in for restarts up until 5 to go. With 5 to go or less, we pull them out and put them to the rear.
Fair enough. Keep those comments coming, anybody. If we missed anything, battery location must be mounted to a frame, not to a fiberglass firewall. That's a good question, Rob. That was brought up. We're just waiting to clarify how that one's going to work out. I'll send out a bulletin on that. I won't have the answer right today, I don't think. But you guys got to remember, when it comes to your batteries, anything like that on your car that's bolted in, if tech doesn't like how it's securely mounted, they can park you or make you change that. So do your own self-diligence. Make sure your battery is securely mounted. I know a lot of guys are feeling because they're only about this big, they're half the size or a quarter the size of a regular car battery. It's still a lot of weight out there. It's no different than added weight on a mini stock, you've got to make sure things are securely mounted and secured. And tech will be looking at those types of things. So make sure you've got those covered because you don't want to get thrown out for that. There's no changes to the batteries allowed. Basically, exactly what you've been allowed to do for the past few years is the same you can do in 2020. If you missed the meeting so far, you can always go back. We'll post it as soon as we're done, and you can catch the whole broadcast again. Right now we're about 45 minutes into it, getting down to the closing end of it. And again, if you have any questions or comments about this, you can always reach out to us offline, and we can we'll take care of this. I'm always accessible and available to answer any questions anybody has. If there's anything here that you don't like or you got an issue with, send us a message and we can talk about it. No, Corey
To
Turner.
answer Corey's 20 cars. 20 cars will be 2 heats. If we go 21 to 24, it'll go to 3 heats. And then above that, it'll be 3 heats until we get to 49 cars. Sorry, until we get to 36 cars will be 3 heats. And then 37 to 48 will be 4. So 20 cars or less will be 2 heats, Corey. If we get 21 to 24, we'll go to 3 heats.
Dave Goodacre says only race haulers in the main pits losing room every week due to passenger cars in the pits. Well, that was an issue the past 2 seasons. We had a parking crisis, so we had to get everybody into the pits because we only had one fan parking lot. I can tell you the lot on the side of turn 3 and 4 should be ready for stone any day now, and they've crushed a lot of those large rocks into smaller 3/4 gravel to make it a lot more easy to walk and park on. And we've also got Steyer's Lumberyard that's being prepped now for parking. So I think you'll be seeing race haulers most likely only allowed back in as opposed to everybody cruising on through. Marty says we did change that for 2019. The book didn't change the reflection, didn't reflect the change. So I'll look into that and figure out where we missed the boat on the batteries. But once again, they've got to be securely mounted. I don't know what you mean by that question, Cody, Rebecca. It says, any chance of rules being written in detail for future, not vague gray line written. Well, which rule are you speaking about? And, we do our best to get everything written down. But a lot of things, sometimes race procedures have to change on the fly, depending on the situation, timing, weather. So we do our best to keep things consistent as possible and keep everybody on the up and up. But if you want to elaborate on that, we'll be glad to answer your question. Just looking back to see if I missed any other questions here, Doug. I don't know. If anybody has any other questions, let us know. The other thing is you can also, as I mentioned, reach out to us offline. Don't forget the deadline for memberships is midnight tonight. So download your form online. Email it to Tammy at Ohswekenspeedway.com. Within 48 hours, we'll reach out to you to make arrangements to get payment. And cash payments can be arranged as long as you've got your forms in place when you call in.
Remind that's for crew members as well, right, Clint? So it's not just drivers. Crews can definitely take advantage of that membership and that discounted price too.
So Cody Rebecca Somerville says fuel cell box rule. Techs want a certain measurement gap between cell. One wanted fuel steel box, other didn't. Not a mutual decision. Well, they're printed on the ODCC rules right now in black and white. It would take me a while to find it right now, but if you go there and find it and can't get a quick answer, just send us a message and we'll get clarification on it. But that should be listed clearly on the ODCC website. Okay. Thanks, Sean. We appreciate your support. He says, other than safety rules, don't listen to racers. From a veteran racer. Dusty DeBoer brings up a good question, Doug, and I'll throw that over to you. Can you go over what divisions / races get courtesy laps for flat tires and when?
There is no courtesy lap rule in our Thunder stock or mini stocks. I mean, it's basically up to the drivers to get back in a safe manner while we're doing lineup purposes. I mean, certainly we try to give somebody the courtesy of doing it, but there is no official rule. Crate sprint cars in 360s obviously get the 2 minute rule. It's when they've arrived to their pit spot. They get 2 minutes. We send a push truck in with them. Once they're there, that push truck driver lets me know that the driver has arrived to their pit spot, and we start the clock there.
Only in the mains, though, right?
That is, well, B main and main. B main and main, they get the 2 minutes.
Now, just to talk about that for a second, we tried to give courtesy laps in the Brock Leonard or the Art Hill a couple years back. It just didn't really work out. The drivers were most of the ones who came back and said, we need to go back to the way it was. So we attempted to do it for the Minis and Thunders. I don't think it worked out. Didn't give us the race we wanted. I think we spent a lot of time waiting for guys to get tires fixed and come back out. And it's just, we'll probably keep the way things exactly the way they've been the past few years. Dave Goodacre says, what about limits on time to save time? I think one of the big things we're trying to do is we face that tough balance of trying to get everybody a fair shot to get their money's worth of track time, a fair opportunity to qualify. So I think time limits I just hate it because, you can have a red flag and you guys are going to get 2 laps and we're going to hear about it big time. I think if we all do our best to pull, and that includes the safety crew, getting cleanups done, getting us back to green as fast as we can, if we all push towards that goal and we're always, like I say, hustling every week, when we have that one stinker of a show, it's not going to be as painful if we're dragging our heels every night, every heat. So that's the big thing that I think we tried to stress to Dustin and Patty and all the safety crew is, we got to hustle. Like, I equate it to the Blue Jay game. When you go to a Blue Jay game, the grounds crew come out between innings. They don't drag their rake out and saunter out. They hustle out. They do their job. They get out, and the game goes back as fast as they can. And I think by us showing that effort, it's really helped push our show along. And so I'm not in favor of time limits. Doug, do you want to address that?
No, I totally agree. I mean, you get a long red flag. Possibly, in the recent years, we've had to call in emergency services from outside the track. So, that definitely delays the show. And if you get over a time limit and only get 2 laps, you're right. We're going to hear it. So, we all have to work together on it. If there's a caution, if you're able to get to the pits and make your repairs or get off the racetrack, great. Work with us on that. One-way radio certainly help out for lineup purposes. And as you said, we've got the best safety team in the business, in my opinion. And they're out there as fast as they can. I'm in their rear and up their butts. Telling them they got to speed it up, but also work smartly, and they do so. So I agree. Time limit's not good.
Just want to mention, everybody, don't forget, we are wrapping this up shortly. So if you got any questions or comments, send them in now, because if things slow down, we're going to drop off here in about 2 or 3 more minutes. So if you got any questions, let us know. Dave Goodacre brings up another question. What about one victory lane at the end of the night for all divisions? So we've tried this. And Doug, you and I have been managing races for 20 years now. We've tried every single way we can. And I've always defended the 3 cars in victory lane, because as long as you got that one winner out there, you're still going to have time for the other 2. So if you watch the way we do it, we do the victory lane while he's getting his pictures taken. We jump in with second and third. So they don't cost us any time because we'd be there. The other thing we can do is we can eliminate things and take it to the end of the night. The problem with that is, that's okay for maybe a guy who wins 3-4 times. Maybe Dave Bailey would be okay with that. Maybe Dylan Westbrook would be okay with that. But Dave Goodacre, if you get that feature win, man, you're going to want to be there in front of the grandstand, in front of the crowd, in the heat of the moment. And I think that's the big thing right there that we're still trying to capture, is the authenticity of the drama. That's the big thing with the TV crew. We came in, we realized we didn't have to fabricate anything. We have enough, raw emotions there, and it's just a way to capture it. And we've even tried different things, Doug, like sending them on the TV broadcast to scale first and then come out. We tried many different configurations, and I still think if we can keep it down to a quick, 5 minutes tops from the time the green flag goes, checker goes to the next green, it's acceptable. What are your thoughts?
I totally agree. I mean, it's you don't want them to prolong and be so take up the whole night, but it's about of capturing the moment. We're in the entertainment business. A victory lane that comes to mind from last year was Donnie Lampman winning that race. And what does he do? The first thing he does, he jumps out of the race car and he runs down the front straightaway towards turn number 4 and jumps into his father's arms. I mean, as a father, you as well. I mean, that kind of almost brought a tear to my eye. I mean, it was very fitting. But you send him back to the pits and get him to do that, and we try to catch it on camera. That raw emotion's gone. And I don't think it's just for the winner. I mean, there's some guys that a third place finish might be a win to them. So you get them out of the race car and they're smiling year to year. You got the camera in the face and the microphone up to their lips. I mean, yeah, I think we have to do it then.
No, I agree. You know, just keep the way Stephen Petty brings up a great as an announcer. He hates victory lane at the end of the night, mostly because there's no fans at the end, and especially if it's a first-time winner. And, you know, Dave Bailey and, like I said, the guys who are winning a lot may be all right with it, but I think he still wants that raw emotion. They still want to get out in front of the crowd. And I think the way we do it, too, you know, we're constantly rotating divisions. So, you know, some nights you're the last feature, some nights you're the first feature. You know, so I think we do our best to be as fair as we can. Fabio's question there, Spencer, if you can throw that up there. Are we going to have someone on turn 3 again? It makes it not safe having someone there to tell us when it's safe. Either they're just flying on the track. So what he's asking for is another official up in turn 3, Doug. What are your thoughts on, you know, we used to have Johnny Howell up there.
Yeah, I mean, we can certainly look into it. I mean, as you say in the drivers' meeting, what we ask you guys to do is enter the racetrack on the turn number 3 and ride the rim around. I mean, if you ride it in and drop in at turn number 4 up against the wall, I believe that's the safest way. I mean, you're up there, a driver who's going into turn number 3 is going to see you as you transition off. I mean, I get it, you want to get onto the racetrack safely, but it's up to you guys too. I mean, a lot of times we put official up there in turn number 3 and Johnny had the red flag out. You guys disobeyed him. I mean, you just drove through it. So work with us and we'll work with you. I mean, you guys are driving against each other. You're asking each driver to give you room. Give them room coming back onto the racetrack. You know you've been in the pits and you potentially could be down a lap or rushing back out, but be cautious to those that are on the racetrack that haven't gone to the pits and enter on the top side of turn number 4 like we asked.
Yeah, I agree with Doug. If you're coming in on green, you should be riding that rim, having a good look, because, you know, the last thing we want is our flagman up there waving you in. You jump into the bowl, so to speak, and hit somebody, then you're gonna be screaming at us that our guy waved you out into a dangerous situation. So when you guys are behind the wheel of your car, you're under control. We have a lot of rim up there for you to get a good look down into, as I call it, down into the bowl before you dive down in off of 4. If we're under yellow, Doug usually does a good job of coaching you where you should be pulling in or keeping it up high, or let these two guys by and then blend in. So up but under green, you know, we would pretty much keep it together. Thanks for the comments, guys. As Adam Ross mentioned, don't be shy. We've got a few more minutes here to answer your questions, comments. If you missed it, or any of your friends or teammates or fellow drivers want to see it, you can share this back to them. It'll be live for rebroadcast pretty much as soon as we're done here. Thanks, Terry. Terry Baker says thanks for going on here, even with the COVID-19 situation. And I want to thank Spencer for everything he's done. Just a quick mention, if you guys were watching the iRacing deal going on here today with NASCAR, don't forget we are hosting iRacing with a lot of your fellow racers weekly on our programs here on GeForceTV.net. You can also catch mine and Adam's Race Rivals Race Chat on Tuesday nights at 9, where we talk about basically everything and have guests from all over. You're welcome to be interactive and jump in on those discussions with us as well. So lots of cool stuff going on. We're going to keep here online as much as we can. We still have broadcasts going back. We're working out all our deals with MAV TV. They're back again for another season, and we're just super excited. So I'll just see if anybody's got any more questions. I think that's about it, Doug. So thanks, everybody, for joining us on both sessions today. The micro sprint meeting was at noon today. You can also find that online if you missed it. It's on GeForceTV.net and also our Facebook page. And no, Doug cannot smile, Nick. It's against the rules. He gets fined if he smiles on the job. He's got to look like a prick, right, Doug? That's why we
I
made him
only
grow a beard,
smile.
so he looks tougher.
I only smile when I get a Bud Light in my hand.
Jamie Turner asks, which classes are allowed to re-enter the track during a green?
We
Crates and
allowed all
minis.
the classes. Yeah, I mean, with a sprint car on that, it's certainly not under green flag. I mean, it's got to be a push under yellow coming from us. If we know somebody is coming to the racetrack while we're under caution, but we potentially could be coming to green, I will call it off to allow that member to enter. It's not a cold cutoff. You certainly want to work with the drivers, but under green flag situations, that yeah, you're right. 360s are not minis and crates. Minis and thunders can.
No, Doug's not a prick. I'm just teasing. All right, thanks everybody for joining us today. As we said, trying situation. Do the best. Take care of your family. Take care of your neighbors. Hopefully, this will all break up soon and we can get back out there. We are still about 8 weeks away from anything at the Speedway, so we've got some time. We are going to keep announcing some great new sponsors, and I mean, I can let a cat out of the bag. We've had our 4 division sponsors have been on us for 3 years. We're entering our 3rd year of that deal. I can say that 3 out of the 4 have already made agreements to come back, and we'll announce the 4th here. Hopefully tomorrow I can get that business done, and we can announce that all 4 division sponsors will be back for another 3 years. We're excited about that. We picked up a new Victory Lane sponsor, Safety Clean, which is oil handling company, and they're major all over the world, owned by Clean Harbors International. They're also going to be our new Victory Lane sponsor, so Safety Clean Victory Lane is what we'll be calling it this year. We picked up some new sponsors. Revs Full Throttle has picked up the big block race, and they'll be supplying us with a new camera buggy for our broadcast this year, a new Can-Am side-by-side, so we're excited about that, and excited to have Butch and his crew on. So watch for the announcements are going to start coming hot and heavy here. I've got Clayton writing a bunch of them as we start to announce a lot of things. So we are really ramping up. More land has been acquired behind the Speedway, and we're going to keep pushing things on through. Can we clarify that the 5,000 to win Crate Nationals or DSC Crate Redder motor is the ready motor include the original GM Crate? Yes, it does. Strickland's GMC is going to supply us with a crate motor. Then we're going to send it out to DSE, and they're going to convert it for sprint car racing. So on the Friday night, the Canadian Crate Nationals, the winner will have a choice: 5,000 cash, or a motor that's valued at probably north of 6. You guys would know where that is. Whatever they do not choose will be the prize for Saturday night's Crate Sprint Car feature as part of the 16th annual Canadian Sprint Car Nationals on the Saturday. So hopefully that answers everybody's questions. If you have anything else, let us know. You can always send us a message offline or via email or through Facebook Messenger, and we'll get back to you with answers as soon as we can. So thanks, Doug, for being with us. Thanks, Spencer, for all your work this weekend preparing slides and providing us technical support for both meetings. Don't forget you catch Rivals Race Chat on Tuesday nights, and we're going to have an iRacing practice race tonight. If you're bored, come out and check it out. It'll be live at 7:30, I believe, here tonight. So, and Adam's got it up there. Throw that comment up from Adam Spencer if you can. Live iRacing tonight on GeForceTV.net. Xfinity Cars at New Hampshire. Be live at 8 o'clock. Can we go to video replay before getting penalized like football? Doug? It's not a bad question.
It's not. It's not a bad question at all. I mean, we've looked into the technology of it. Certainly, it's timing. I mean, that's a fitting question from Blake Bomberry. I messed up one a couple years ago on him in that, which was I thought he took out a car and didn't watch it replay. It was paper. Put a piece of paper between him and the bumper in front of him. It means certainly something we can look into. I mean, we've done a lot of advancements on it. I like the idea. I've worked at tracks that do have it, such as like Wii Sports Speedway. I mean, working with the Super Dirt Car Series, I know Dave Farney uses it a lot. He'll say, "Hey, let's go to replay." They put it back up on the jumbotron and they'll make a call. So certainly, I mean, with the production team that we have, it's certainly something we can definitely look into.
Yeah, there has been a couple opportunities where we looked at something right after it happened. But I think it's a tool that's there. If you choose to use it, Doug, it's nothing that we can rely on, and we will never, I don't think, accept drivers running up to us with their phone and saying, "Look, you messed this up," because it's going to happen. So we can't 100% rely on it. if it's available, I think the core message there is Doug doesn't ever want to hear anybody complain, right? So you're going to do everything and use every tool you can to make that right, accurate call in the timing you have available to you, because you want to get it right. Because, you know, the biggest, like, you and I love it at the end of the night when there's nobody lined up at that payout window waiting to talk to us, whether it be about an incident that you had to deal with or something I have to deal with. Those are the most painful nights. Probably the things we like least about racing is when our friends come up to us upset and feeling we screwed them over. So I think our core goal is always to get it as right as we possibly can within the time frame we're allowed to do it. And you can, you know, every Monday we Monday morning quarterback our decisions from the weekend by watching everything that comes out after the fact. But we don't have 3 hours to do that. You've got about 3 seconds to make a call. And, you know, I'll give it to you 99.9. You're right. So we appreciate it.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, that's the fun or bad job of being an official. I mean, we all hear it. Umpires, hockey referees, basketball referees, even football referees. At times we mess up calls. I mean, it's certainly not what we're trying to do. We want to get them right 100% of the time, but the other time we mess up. I mean, certainly we don't come to the drivers and tell them when they mess up. We're all human and we're going to make those mistakes. We don't like to. So, yeah, I love Blake's idea, and that's something definitely we want to look into.
Fran asked me to explain the Silver Series. Fran, it's a different form of qualifying where we'll line them up by points. There's no qualifying heats, just one last chance qualifier, and it's 500 to win for those divisions on the Silver Series night if it is for that division. The other thing Dave Goodacre asked, live streaming in-car, is that possible? I'm assuming he's asking about in-car cameras. We are looking into the technology. We are right now buffing up all of our camera technology and computer stuff. We are currently an 8-camera system with replay capabilities. Spencer has put in a proposal to get it to 16 cameras this summer for us. That'll include some in-car possibilities as well. We're definitely looking at that. That is high on our list of new technology. Some of the other stuff you're going to see is cameras around the push-off track. So we'll be able to take a live look at cars pacing around as they're getting ready to roll out. We're going to have some more cameras back in the pit area on poles as robocams to try and give us some more shots of the pit area. And, you know, they're also going to benefit our Thursday night Microsprint live broadcast as well. So we're excited to have those going on. The other things going on, there's new suites being built along the back straightaway between the existing grandstands and the on-ramp, kind of right at the end of where the sprint cars parked. It was a bit of a dead area, but there's a 4-bay garage with 6 suites going up on the second floor of the back straightaway. The walls are going up for that as we speak, so exciting about that, to have some corporate boxes to put up some new VIP guests, and that's the one thing we've been lacking for a while. So we're excited about that. Yes, we'll have an ambulance at the track Thursdays and Fridays. Pit report, yeah, we're working on that too. So we got all kinds of cool stuff going on. Broadcast will continue to ramp up. And I don't know. I think that's about it. It's been a great day here. Thanks, everybody, for joining us today. I really appreciate you coming on in these trying times and getting with us. As we know, you guys have a lot of work to do, as do we. We'll continue to get all the rules up. I think the one rule package we do have to still update and get updated online is the 360 sprints, and we'll have those up to you by Tuesday with the updates we've rolled out here today. So once again, if you've missed the broadcast or just joining us, you can go back and watch it all once we click it live here and save it. We will send it out to the world once more. So thanks, Spencer, for joining us. Thanks, Doug. Earlier today, we had Jeff Smith with us. Adam Ross was with us also today. Thank you so much for being with us. We'll talk to you soon. If you have any questions, send us a message offline, and we'll get them to you right away. Thank you. Have a great day. Stay safe, everyone.